In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I recreated the entire soundtrack for a movie all by myself. Usually films have big studios, multiple editors, $100,000 speakers, and soundproofing, but I did it with this microphone, some headphones, and a laptop. This was pretty challenging, but I like how it turned out. I hope you stick around to the very end of the video to see the final product. Enjoy the video. So to start, this was done for a university assignment. What we were basically told to do was take a 2 to 3 minute clip of a movie and just rip the soundtrack out and do it ourselves. They wanted the clips to have a bit of talking, a bit of music, but what they were really focused on was just the sound effects, the raw sound effects themselves. The explosions, the hits, the little tiny footsteps, etc. My favorite movie is The Incredibles, so I picked a scene from that. I had 3 scenes that I was debating on doing, all with different difficulties and their own flaws. It was easy, but only easy because it didn't have too much going on in terms of its sound effects. Medium, but it had a lot of sounds where I just didn't think I could make them myself without special equipment. And hard, where the problem was that it was really hard. But I wanted a good mark, okay? So I was like, no matter how hard it is, I think I'm just gonna do the hard scene. So here's me doing the hard scene. I can't really show the whole scene full blast because of copyright reasons, so I'm just gonna flip it and play it with the volume lowered and explain it at the same time. I'll leave a link to some random guy's upload in the description just in case you want to watch the whole thing yourself, but for now I'm just gonna explain it. Anyways, so in this scene, it's Mr. Incredible's first fight with the Omnidroid, a big robot that he has to defeat because it's a big evil robot. He gets ready in a rocket ship, blasts off, and lands in a rainforest. He then gets out of this little rocket pod and runs through the forest. Then the Omnidroid finds him and they battle with lots and lots of big booms and hits and tree falls. And then Mr. Incredible runs and jumps off of a cliff and they fight in an echoey ravine where there's lots of rock throwing and metal jumping. Then they jump into a volcano where the Omnidroid tries to push Mr. Incredible into the lava, but then he does that one tug-of-war move and lets go of all of his strength, and then the Omnidroid falls into the lava. After that, it comes back out, but that's where I cut it off because I was already over my class's time limit. So we basically have a rocket ship, a forest, and a big metal robot. Kind of all over the place, but I had a plan for all of them. A lot of the sounds I was gonna get on my own. But we were allowed to pull a few sound effects from various sound effects libraries, so I used that. For example, there's a rocket ship, and I don't have a rocket ship, so I had to pull some sound effects. There are a few other clips that were peppered in that were pulled from sound effects libraries, but trust me, most of it's me. Keep watching the video. I didn't just steal everybody's work and then claim it as mine. A lot of it's me. I'll show you. Just give me a second. I'll show you. For the forest, I went outside to the cottage and got a lot of the real deal equivalents. Some of these parts are very ASMR-y, so get ready. So on windy days like today, I'm sure you can hear the wind, you should always bring a pop filter so that, you don't pick up the wind sound. I forgot one. So luckily I have this sock, this Costco Puma sock. And if you just, yeah, that sounds good. This is how they used to do it back in the medieval times. And it works just as well. It doesn't, I'm lying. But I mean, that's what we have for today. Okay, this is me taking footsteps on various ground. This is me breaking more wood. Okay, so the ASMR portion kind of stops here because now we're moving on to the giant robot. This one was going to take a bit more thinking. There are a lot of parts where Mr. Incredible punches the robot or it lands on the ground from a big fall or jump. I of course needed lots of big heavy metal, but there are a lot of parts within the robot that also make noises too that you got to think about. It's kind of springy and it locks its joints into place. So the one big springy locky thing that I could think of was my garage door.
So that's probably a good sound. Yeah. Now I gotta go all the way back in and open it up again. Here in my garage. I want to listen to how that sounds because to my ears it sounds pretty good. Okay, that was pretty good, so I'm going to do it again.
Okay, so that's for the big robot impacts, but what about the parts where the robot's just like moving around? And this is why I was able to do this scene, because okay, now I'm at a warehouse and we're gonna get some forklift noises. Just really mechanical, metallic, everything like that noises. So here we go.
Okay, that's good.
So now it's time to mix all of the audio. In audio, you gotta get your ingredients. You gotta get the actual sounds that you're gonna use, and then the mixing process is when you decide how you're gonna use them. How much of each ingredient you wanna use. What spices or effects you wanna apply to them. So for this class, because it was all at home, because, you know, everything's all at home, we got our very own ProTools subscription that we can use at home on our own computers. If you don't know what ProTools is, it's like the top dog of digital audio workstations. Okay, now we are in Pro Tools. So here I'm going to show you how I mixed everything, all the layers and everything like that. Just how everything just comes together as one. So you can see all these layers over here. Some of them don't have anything in them for quite a while. Either I wanted a specific effect to be for a specific layer, and that effect obviously doesn't show up everywhere, or it's because in instances such as this one, in the background effects, these kinds of effects only show up for this amount of time. This is ADR, this is where all the voices go. I'll get a little more into that later. This orange one over here is for music. You can see where I cut out the music a little bit just to add some effect. So once he punches, the music stops to add kind of an emphasis on his punch, and then it comes back in when the robot gets back up. So yeah, you can see how that works. BGFX is background effects. These are kind of the atmospheric sounds that are just the world itself. It's around you, it kind of builds the environment. Here, I'll show you inside the volcano. And yes, that is Minecraft lava bloops. We were allowed to use a few other things. It's not all me. I don't have a volcano. Spec effects is not special effects, it's specific effects. So this is the beefiest part. This is everything that's going on. Every hit, every jump, every pat, anything. I'll play a little bit of the most important stuff. Yeah, so that's, you know, it's just the whole robot. As you can see, it's quite a lot. It's quite a lot of layers. In big budget movies, they probably have a million more layers. But personally, this was a little hard. There's a lot of things going on here. Let me play you the first part that I put together, the first part that I layered. So there's there's 8 different sounds going on here, all to make this one kind of punch. Also, if I bring in the background effects, I made it so that birds got like a little crazier once he made that giant noise in the forest. So you can hear them all kind of like fly away because they get scared. I'm gonna move on to sound design. These are kind of like the weird things that you kind of beef up a little bit. They're kind of larger than life. You know, I didn't get them just on the field. So him blasting off out of the rocket ship is actually like 7, 8 different potato cannons. I wanted a boom sound, you know, like, I don't know. That's how I explained it. I think it sounds a little better with everything else going on. And finally, all the foley. This is also pretty hard. It's kind of like everything that someone in the scene just does. So whether that's pick up something and put it down, or like here I am with a notebook. Like I'd have to record all that stuff. And most importantly, footsteps. So here, I'll give you an example. So he shakes the leaf. Just little sounds like that, but they're super important because without them, you'd be like, what's going on? He's walking. Like he's cracking on sticks and leaves and dirt and everything. And he just shook that leaf. Like, where's the sound for that? Obviously, there's a sound for that. So Foley makes everything so real. Finally, I needed the voices. I got my sister to be Mirage and my friend Cosimo to be Mr. Incredible. When you're doing voice acting, you gotta do it. I picked my boy Cosimo for this scene because Mr. Incredible yells. And when you gotta yell, you gotta yell. Your parents may be in the next room, but it's not gonna sound realistic unless you actually yell. You can't just go, because it just doesn't sound like it. You actually have to yell. I chose Cos because I know he'd be good. I know he would go into his closet with his microphone and yell. There's a lot of breathing in this. There's a lot of grunts and groans.
Showtime.
But the climax of the scene is where Mr. Incredible yells and throws the Omnidroid into the lava. So it's important. And now, here's that yell. It's like music to my ears. Anyways, I mixed all of that together, added some music from D-Wolf, and exported it. Now, before I play it, don't go away, Cosimo also makes music. In my intro and my outro, that's his music. He helped me out a lot with this, so link in the description to his music. Go check it out. It's like really, really good. Also, again, I have flipped this video over for copyright reasons. I also flipped the stereo sound in the video so things sound like they come from the right place. But if you want to see this video in its true form, there's a link down in the description where I've put it in a Google Drive folder so you all can see it in the way that it's supposed to be seen. Anyways, here it is. The Incredibles clip done with sound from yours truly.
I've got to warn you. It's a learning robot. Every moment you spend fighting it only increases its knowledge on how to beat you.
Shut it down, do it quickly, don't destroy it.
And don't die.
Great, thanks.
Showtime.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching. This is my first video. Plan to do more in the future. If you're watching this, you're probably not subscribed. Please subscribe. There is more to come. And even then, subscribe now. It's free. If my future videos don't interest you, then you can just unsubscribe later. But I don't know. I think you'll like them. Once again, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.